Distinguished guest, it's now my great pleasure to serve as chair of our first keynote session dedicated to the Thai host. Professor Vilawan Sweserani is one of the Thailand's leading scholars and practitioners in theater and puppetry. A graduate of Thammasat University and the School of Oriental and African Studies, University of London. She served at Chiang Mai University for more than 2 decades and has made significant contributions to the development of contemporary Lana puppet theater through scholarship, hard work with the students, creative practice, and community engagement. Today, Professor Vilawan will present her keynote lecture entitled, When Puppet Breathe, Embody Knowledge of Change and Adaptation for Music and Movement in Contemporary Lana Performance. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming Professor Vilawan Sweserani and her puppets.
Ciao. Good morning to our distinguished guests and all participants, colleagues and friends. It is a truly great honor to be invited as the keynote speaker for this special event, jointly hosted by Chiang Mai University and Chulalongkorn University. Before I begin, I would like to express our appreciation to the organizing committees of the ICTMD for their generous invitation. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to Professor Porn Prapit, the chair of this session, for her kind introduction and for making this gathering possible. Now, I'm not standing here alone. I am here with all my companions who have come along beside me through the years of my career at Chiang Mai University for more than 30 years. So let me introduce them to you. Grandma.
Yes.
So would you like to say hello to everyone here?
Yes. สวัสดีเจ้า I'm grandmom. Good morning, everyone.
So Alu, would you like to?
Yes. สวัสดีครับ Hello everyone. I'm stay in Chiang Mai.
Gui Lin
สวัสดีเจ้า everyone
and the hero, Uman.
สวัสดีครับ everyone
Oh, อาจารย์ใหม่ Are they here watching?
All listening.
Watching or listening. That is the question. This question between watching and listening frames our entire practice. So please let us share our experiences with our guests. Shall we?
Yes. Shall we?
Let's
Shall we?
go.
Come on,
Everyone.
shall we?
Yeah.
Yes, come here, come here.
Firstly, I would like to share some of the lessons that this journey has taught me. So please allow me to start my presentation with my personal and artistic background. My foundation in dance and puppetry certainly was deeply traditional. I was trained at Thammasat University as a drama student at that time, under the supervision of Professor Dr. Mattani Rattanin. When I moved to Chiang Mai, I chose puppetry. It's not because it's easy. I chose it because it was alive. I began my journey not as a master, but as a simple lecturer at Chiang Mai University in the Fine Arts faculty. At that time, still searching, still questioning. And therefore, I had to begin again to adapt, to listen, and to build trust. Slowly, I formed relationships, eventually gathering a group of my students at that time who loved and enjoyed working with puppets, and we named ourselves Hobby Hut Chiang Mai Puppet Troupe. And over time, I began to see myself not as one thing, but quite a few things at once. Dancer, puppeteer, educator, and lifelong learner. Puppetry is one of the earliest forms of theater. These photos show the set of the stage of the two major forms of Thai puppetry, Nang Yai, shadow puppet, and Hun Krabok. And this is the style of Thai Hun Krabok that inspired me. My foundation in puppetry came from my traditional training with the puppet master, Kun Kru Chun, Mrs. Chu Si Sakun Kao, who later became a national artist of Thailand in the year 1986. She did not teach me the technique, but also discipline, respect, and the invisible energy between performer and puppet. For me, I think this became my foundation of my embodied knowledge and shaped everything I have done since. I was fortunate to connect with other Thai puppet communities and another Thai traditional puppet master, Pan Ajahn Chakkapan Bosayakrit. These pictures show Ajahn Chakkapan's refined puppets collection in a traditional style, but with some adaptations, particularly the glamorous costumes. These networks inspired me and shaped my early understanding that puppetry is never solitary. It is always relational. Through my experience of living in northern Thailand, along with several years of research and experiments, I was strongly drawn to the cultural and natural richness of life in the north, especially in the fields of arts and crafts, dances and music, local resources, creativity, knowledge and wisdom became the most valuable inspiration to adapt my puppet. The adaptation of Thai Hun Krabok originated from the undergraduate course of the Art Asian Puppetry, which was part of the dramatic arts curriculum that I was responsible for. For me, I like to follow the direction of making experimental puppets for my students on the course. This approach encouraged them to use their imagination and creativity more. What is Lana puppetry? For me, Lana puppetry is not something I inherited fully formed. It is something I had to discover and construct through years of practice, collaboration, experimentation, and communication with artistic communities. What emerged was not simply a puppet form, but a living cultural practice. So Lana puppetry is not fixed, it is alive. In my opinion, we did not create something entirely new, but through our work, a kind of evolution occurred. In my research, creative practice, I worked with hybrid forms, bringing together central traditions, Lana aesthetics, and diverse ethnic influences which developed into a distinct form of Lana puppetry. After years of experimentation, the resulting puppet took shape. It took its physical form from adapting and mixing the traditional Thai Hun Krabok puppets. But instead of the square cloth back as a body, it had a full shape length, a figure similar to the wayang golek in Indonesia, rod puppet. This sketch drawing show a combination of the flexibility of movement of the wayang golek and the proportion of the Thai Hun Krabok, made this new creation easy to manipulate. And this was since 1996, when we first, our simple completed set of these adapted Thai rod puppets were made by my students from the Asian puppetry course. They performed one of the famous Jataka tales in Lana literature known as Suwanna Hoi Sang. These puppets evolved by adopting and adapting various elements of the arts of puppetry as teaching tools by incorporating elements of Northern art and culture with them. Through this process, I had come up with the new idea of making this innovative form, and it is known today, Hun Kra Bok Lan Na, or I call my nickname, Hun Kra Bok Bap Mai. In some districts of Chiang Mai, there are still active craftsmen, especially Buddha image wood carvers with their skills, handed down over generation. The technique of adding a decorative touch on wood crafts, lacquerware, and the most popular example are Sawatdi wooden dolls. Here, adaptation began with local craftsmanship. We constructed the simple mechanism of the body structure. Wood carving was not only a decorative technique, it became a form of embodied knowledge. Through the hands of local artisans, the puppet body slowly took shape. The knowledge of proportion, balance, joints, and movement evolved through touch, repetition, and practice. The mural of Northern Thai temple became an important source of inspiration, particularly from Wat Pu Min and Wat Nong Bua from Nan province. In this way, adaptation allowed the past to speak to the present. The painting of puppets' faces, which gave their characteristics and identities, were chiefly influenced by mural paintings, often seen in the old temple of Nan and Chiang Mai provinces. These are examples created during training workshop on the puppet face painting. Textile weaving traditions in Lana date back at least 400 years. 200-year-old temple murals in Nan province, famously Wat Pu Min, show figures wearing patterns that still appear on women's wrapped around skirts and shawls. By adapting traditional textiles into puppet costumes, we were doing more than dressing the puppets. We were bringing the stories, skills, and cultural traditions of Lana into the performance. For accessories and headdresses, we took inspiration from the murals that depicted Lana court scenes. I worked with a local music ensemble in Chiang Mai. In this collaboration, music was not just accompaniment, it became a co-performer. These are the sounds of northern bamboo flute called Pi Chum. And the northern string instruments, Slaw and Sung. Which made the dance movements and mood of Lana puppets become vital and alive. The choice of simple Lana musical instruments gave room for a live commentary narration of the action that includes dialogues, jokes, and improvisation. So let me show you from the excerpt of the Lana puppet performance.
เมื่อใดทรงพักประจักษ์ตาอย่างแก้วแวววันหอบพันเป็นคอยท้าวเทตาเสด็จแล้วพระเจ้าข้า ข
kind of improvisation. Just for example, the stage set was not simply a backdrop for the puppets. It became a space where different aspects of Lana culture could come together: architecture, visual art, music, storytelling, and performance. We used colors of temple architecture and decoration with patterns of gold and red. The architecture of the rooftop of the old Lana court palaces and temples was also a vital influence in our stage sets. By adopting and adapting basic technique from the old Hun Grabok and the Western puppets manipulation technique, it is easier to engage the audience. So in both the invisible and invisible manipulation technique that are used. Our storylines reflected the northern way of life and belief, which were adapted and written into scripts for performances. This is a story adapted from the old Lana folk tales, quite well known. It's Princess Rojana and Zhao Ngo, and this Prince Rajana and her royal suitors. This story is Kinnari Yung Kam, written in 2000, a romance story of human prince, Prince Suthon, and a mythical creature from the Himalayan forest. For Kinnari, she got wings, and I chose to keep her wings detached from her body. I wanted them to symbolize the free spirit of women, so you can see at the end of this talk. Next is the Apsara. Character of Apsara was adapted from the Angkor Wat's stucco reliefs. This is the Yanli wizard of the god. They just come and say hello to you just now. A story inspired by the diverse culture, beliefs, and legends of the ethnic groups of northern Thailand. These stories allow Lana puppetry become meeting place between local folk tales, Buddhist narratives, ethnic legends, and a wider Southeast Asian imagination. These elements come together as interconnected components within the puppet theater experiences. In this sense, embodied knowledge is not simply knowledge carried in the body. It is knowledge carried through embodied practice, through movement, repetition, and experience. For me, hybridity in Lana puppetry is therefore a process of connection, a way of building relationships that enable culture to remain dynamic, adaptive, and alive. Through this hybrid approach, tradition does not disappear. It continues to breathe, adapt, and find new meanings in contemporary society. When I looked back across 3 decades of practice, the most important lessons learned from puppetry are not about controlling movement. They are about listening, adapting, collaborating, and learning how to live with change. Our goal has never been merely to preserve tradition, but to make it accessible, meaningful, and engaging for young people today. Through performance, children, young people, and audiences of all generations can encounter Lana arts and culture in ways that are both educational and entertaining. In this sense, puppetry becomes more than a performance form. It becomes a meeting place where artistic traditions, cultural memory, and contemporary creativity to coexist and continue to inspire future generations. When puppets breathe, they give voice to memory. When puppets breathe, they connect the past with the present. And when puppets breathe, culture itself continue to grow, transform, and live on. I would like to end my presentation with this. For over 30 years, I thought I was creating puppets. Looking back, I have come to realize that the puppets were also creating me. And I must really thank them for that. ขอบพระคุณมากค่ะ Thank you.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation to be our keynote speaker number one this morning ขอบพระคุณค่ะอาจารย์